Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, man. Something is telling me tonight is going to be a classic. Tonight is going to be a classic. My dog Rich is already here, ready, willing, and able. It is going down, man. You know what I mean? I need that big boomer energy, man. I need that big boomer energy, man. Talk to me, Rich. What's going on, my guy? How you doing, Mr. Burns? Um, hold on. Let me backtrack a little bit. What's good, y'all? Back again, another day. It's your boy, the Curtis York, and welcome to Yorktown, baby. It's going down in Yorktown. We are live again, and we'll be going live every night until we hit 500 subscribers. I actually lost two subscribers today, so we had to take a step back. But you know what I'm saying? A step back ain't always the worst thing in the world. Sometimes you got to step back like James Harden to hit that three. So, it is what it is. I'm kind of enjoying going live every night. So I'm not really tripping on losing subscribers. I mean, subscribers come, subscribers go. Yorktown ain't for everybody, man. Everybody ain't meant to be in Yorktown. It ain't for everybody. It's only for a select few, which is why I'm not even really worried about the subscribers like that. I mean, it would be nice to get monetized and all that good stuff, but I also understand that it's going to take time. We're not gonna get to 1,000 overnight. We're not gonna get to 500,000 overnight. It's gonna take time, and that's actually what I want to talk to y'all about tonight with the topic vision. Um, so I'm gonna set the stage, and Rich, we gonna get we got. I'm pretty sure you chomping at the bit, so we gonna get there, man. But I definitely got to set the stage real quick, and then we gonna get into it. So again, and I know, guys, it seems like I'm hard on boomers. You know what I'm saying? It does. And, to a certain degree, boomers have a lot of responsibility that they just have to eat and own, and it's okay. But, this topic actually stems from the conversation that I had with my uncle yesterday. And, I don't want to make it seem like I'm beating up on my poor uncle or I don't like him or anything like that. That's my guy, man. Like I said, we just had a talk, and a lot of the opinions and views that he stated, just gotta talk about it and unpack it. um he's one of the type of people that he talks and he expresses his point of view, but I don't think he's really open to hearing opposite opinions or opposing opinions or even trying to understand opposing opinions. And where I'm at with it, like I told y'all, politically I'm indifferent. I am going to vote, I am going to exercise my right to vote, you know what I'm saying, but I'm going to weigh my options. And as an informed and educated citizen, that's my right to weigh my option and figure out who fits the narrative. My uncle is in South Carolina. I don't think he's going to come on. The last time he watched my videos, he said that my content was pretty much just about my personal life. And, he didn't really know if that was a viable market or anything like that. So, I don't think he watches enough to see that we talk about way more than just my personal life. Now, granted, on the vlog, I do a lot of daily stuff and I talk about my personal life and whatnot. But man, I got videos about my OSHA 30. I got all kind of different videos about different topics. I think a lot of y'all came on board to Yorktown when I was talking about coworkers and being strategic at the workplace, playing chess and understanding politics and all of that stuff. So clearly I talk about way more than just my personal life, but that just showed me that, he doesn't watch the channel that much. So he doesn't really know what's going on, which is a boomer stereotype. They cherry pick information and they form opinions based off of very limited information. Because had he watched my channel, he would see I have over 400 videos, and we talk about various different things. I go live every night, and when I go live, I typically don't talk about my personal life. I'll pick something from the news. Unless I don't really think of a topic, then it's, hey, this is what I did today, what y'all do, and we chop it up. But for the most part, I have topics, I have themes, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, I'm not gonna go off track. um So yeah, my uncle's in South Carolina. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really am trying to step it up and cater to a lot of different things that I'm interested in. But again, still setting the stage. So I was talking to my uncle, and yeah, he said that he was like, your content. It seems like it's only focused on your personal life, and you're not really, you got to focus on maybe information or things that general people want to talk about. And I'm like, I've been doing this for a while now. I've bumped my head a lot. I made a lot of good videos. I made a lot of bad videos. And, I understand. And, I'm going to talk about this in one of my vlogs that's coming up. I got so many that I'm recording every day. It's getting out of control. But long story short, if I really, really, really wanted to blow my channel up and go viral, I know what to do. All I would have to do is go back to doing sneaker reviews. Like if you look at my videos and you check the algorithm and you look at my most watched videos, it's the video I did with my shades, my Louis Vuitton shades that I bought 3 years ago now. That one is sitting very high in that in views. It's sitting at like 4 or 5, maybe 8. I don't know. I haven't checked in a while, but that one has a very high viewership. I have a video about some sneakers that I know is about 8,000 views. Um, and then the video I did about office politics. Your coworkers are not your friends. That one's sitting at about 4,000 views right now. So if I really wanted to just blow my channel up really fast, I just make those type of videos every day. All I have to do is, buy some sneakers, do a review, buy some materialistic stuff, do a review, or talk about politics every day, or talk about office politics and being strategic. I could talk about that all day, every day, and my channel will blow up. But that's not what I want to do. I'm actually building something, and I'm taking my time, and I'm curating an audience, and I'm trying to get people to understand, number one, who I am, and be interested in the things that I like. I don't want to put myself in a niche or a box and focus on one specific thing and grow my channel quickly, because then if I get typecast in a niche, then I can't really focus on other things that I want to. Kind of like an actor, Ice Cube. Ice Cube is one of my favorites, but Ice Cube is typecast. Ice Cube is always going to be the angry black man in every movie. If he's a police officer, he's the angry black man. If he's a thug, he's the angry black man. If he's a revolutionary, he's the angry black man. If he's a spy, he's an angry black man. The Rock, he's pretty much typecast. He's going to be the strong, kind of silly guy that's just, muscular, typecast. I don't want to do that to myself. I don't want to put myself in a box and only be, one type of content creator. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You're chasing, because when you do that, you're chasing the algorithm, you're stifling your creativity, you're putting yourself in a box, and then it becomes a job. You know what I'm saying? And that's why so many YouTubers get burnt out. If you type in YouTube burnout, you'll see all these content creators talking about they're retiring because they burnt out, because it feels like a job. Bruh, if this channel blows up, I'm not creating a job for myself. I refuse. I can just go get a job. Like, but anyways, just listening to my uncle talk, it made me realize, number one, that I don't get outside that much. People always say you need to get out the house more. And clearly I do. I need to listen and kind of see what's going on in the pulse, because, talking to him, it gave me a lot of perspective of what's going on. Boom. There you go. That's exactly who I was thinking. Denzel or Samuel Jackson. Those two, they can play any role. You know what I'm saying? Denzel, we done seen him in science fiction. We done seen him in dramas. We done seen him in action movies. We done seen him in horror movies. We done seen him in comedies. Same thing with Sam. They have a wide range of people, and people usually go to the movie to see them. It don't matter what the movie about. If it's Denzel, Denzel's name alone is gonna bring people out. Samuel Jackson, same thing. Will Smith had it. I don't know if he still has it now after the incident that happened and all that stuff. But Will Smith was another one of those people that could pretty much be in any role. Tom Cruise. You have people that aren't typecast and they can pretty much do anything. But then you have, actors that only can do one thing, one trick ponies. They, what they're going to get. You know what you're going to get when you see them. You know the role, and that's it. But anyways, um, listening to my uncle talk, what I realized, man, is that a lot of people just don't have vision and they can't see what's not in front of them. Those are the type of people that have to wait all day and review everything, and the situation has to be perfect before they jump out there, before they take a risk, before they do anything. The time has to be perfect. Everything has to be right. For those of you who don't know, I was a teacher for 3.5 years. Yeah, 3.5 years. And, I had security, I had stability. My money wasn't like that, but I had security and stability, and I blew everything up. I quit in the middle of the school year and said I wanted to get into real estate because I need more money. And I did it. The timing wasn't perfect. That year was horrible. I was broke. You know what I'm saying? I had people telling me it was the worst decision I ever made in my life. I had my baby moms on my back. I had my mom on my back. Like I had people giving me hell. But, you know, I remember one of my uncles, another one said that was literally the worst possible thing that I could do. But that decision literally changed my life and put me on a whole different course. You know what I'm saying? Like it gave me options. It opened up my eyes to so many possibilities that I would have never had I stayed in that career. And there's nothing wrong with teaching. Teaching just wasn't for me in that capacity. I still feel like I'm a teacher, which is why I come on here and I teach. The vlog is the vlog, but even if you watch the vlog and you listen to the content, I'm giving so much game. I'm talking about positivity, motivation, dealing with stress and adversity, overcoming obstacles all the time. I'm still teaching. You know what I'm saying? Granted, there's a lot of other stuff around it, but I'm still teaching. So, anyways, you have people that just the timing is never perfect. They never jump. Everything has to be right and they get stuck. And the reason that they do that is because they lack vision. And with that right there, as soon as I thought about it, it made me think about an old movie called Willie Dynamite. And Willie Dynamite was a pimp. Willie Dynamite was a pimp. And this scene it always stood out to me. Let me see, what is that? Oh, yeah, this scene always stuck out to me. I'm gonna share it with y'all and we're gonna talk about it. So this is Willie Dynamite right here, this bald brother with the beard. Shout out to the bald brothers with the beard, man. Your boy just shaved. I'm only wearing the hat because it looks cool. But Willie Dynamite, let's listen.
Well, I respect your ambition, Willie, but you got to have vision.
Look at the pause. Look at the pause.
Now, I run every kind of bitch, every kind of place, and I know.
Look at that. You got to have vision. Hold on. Let me run that back, man. You got to have vision, man. You got to have vision.
Oh. Well, I respect your ambition, Willie, but you got to have vision.
You got to have vision, man.
Now, I run every.
You got to have vision, bruh. You got to have vision, man. You got to see something that ain't there. Let me tell y'all something. From that decision that I made, which was the worst decision in my life, going into real estate, I was afforded the opportunity to work for a custom home builder. And the thing about custom home building is a lot of time you're building a building that doesn't exist. Buildings don't exist. They don't just pop up magically. Somebody sits down with their vision and they make a plan, and then they go to an architect, and the architect comes up with drawings and they create a blueprint, and then that blueprint, they take the blueprint or plans, they take the blueprint, and then they get a construction firm to build that vision. They build it. You know what I'm saying? Every time I say the word vision, I'm gonna do the hand thing. So yeah, you have to have vision. You have to see something that doesn't exist. This house that I'm in right now, this room, everything in here at one point in time, it didn't exist. A TV. At one point in time, there was no TV until somebody sat down and they said, "Hey, I'm going to create this thing and it's going to show pictures, moving pictures." And then what did they call it? A TV. And what does a TV stand for? Television. Television. You see it. You know what I'm saying? Behind the TV, right there, there's a PlayStation 5. That didn't exist. Somebody created that. All those clothes back there. People didn't wear clothes at one point in time. The idea of clothes. There was a person, I can't remember his name, but he created what do they call him? A PR person. He People weren't buying enough clothes, and so he came up with the vision and the idea of saying, "Hey, people will wear more clothes if we attach something to the idea of clothes." And what idea are we going to attach to clothes? Expression. If you wear clothes, it's a form of expression. And somebody invented that. Before, that wasn't a thing. People wore clothes to go to work. People wore clothes so they could defend themselves against the weather. Some man somewhere decided to say, hey, if you want to express yourself, you wear clothes. And that's why I got all that foolishness back there. That's why I got those hats. That's why I got this hat on. Because some man somewhere one day decided with his vision that clothes are a form of expression, you know? And a lot of people, it's unfortunate. I hate to say it. A lot of people are never going to be successful. They're never going to get what they want. They're never going to follow their dreams. They're never going to take a chance or a risk. And they're always just going to live in these sad little boxes. And you know why? Because they don't have vision and they don't believe in themselves enough to take a chance or a risk. And I'm not talking about my uncle, y'all. I don't want y'all to think that. Like I said, I love my uncle to death. I'm not taking shots at him. I'm not, trying to sub this or anything like that. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not talking about his situation because that doesn't apply to him. I'm just saying in general, you have a lot of people that don't have vision and they miss out on a lot of opportunities because they're scared to take risks and they're scared to take chances because they can't see it. Sometimes you have to step out on faith. You know, for so many people to be Christians and say that they believe in a higher power and Jesus has their back and God has their back, you wouldn't believe it because they don't believe, they don't take risk. You know, a saying that I enjoy is God helps those that help themselves. He'll help you, but you got to help yourself. You got to take that chance. You got to take that step. You got to reach out there. You got to have vision. So yeah, so much for me only talking about my personal life. But anyway, Rich, you still in here, man? What you got? Let's get it, man. Um, let's talk about last night where I said that I personally feel like Joe Biden owes something specifically to the black community because the black community is what saved his presidential campaign in the 2020 election. And that's not something that I said. This isn't Curtis's idea. This isn't Curtis's concept. This is what I happened to hear CNN say when I was sitting down listening to my uncle talk. You know, um, I'm of the belief of the founding fathers of America and all of their ideas and ideologies and political concepts when they came up with this system and this power structure. I mean, obviously it was flawed because when they came up with it, it was only for wealthy landowners. So, a lot of people like to neglect that fact and people don't like to talk about it because we wouldn't have, I'm not a wealthy landowner, so I wouldn't have been able to, but that's either here nor there. The point is, and you know what? Maybe I'll talk about elitism one day. Elitism and if elitism is a good thing or a bad thing. I think that maybe tomorrow we can dive into that. If elitism is a good thing or a bad thing, why or why not? Um, yeah, but anyways, you know, there was a point in time where everybody couldn't vote. You had to be wealthy, you had to be white, and you had to have land. And the people that voted, they picked somebody to represent them, which means that a politician was nothing more than a spokesperson for a specific group of people. Meaning, hey, Mr. Tim, we're going to vote you into office and you're going to speak on our behalf, the wealthy landowners that want slaves. Yeah. So, Mr. Tim, we're going to vote for you, and your job as our representative is to make sure that you do everything in your power to make sure that we can keep our slaves. It's Black History Month, so let's get into it. Yeah. Your job is to make sure that whenever you talk, you represent us. And you represent us by making sure that we have our right to maintain our slaves. Now, somehow or another, it became this thing where, the politicians are supposed to represent the people, but they don't really represent the people anymore. They represent, um, let's see, what can we call it? They represent themselves by keeping themselves in office and doing what benefits them, whether it necessarily means representing their people or representing um, lobbyists who are going to fund and maintain their political campaigns so that they can continue to run and get elected. This government didn't have the average. No, not at all. Not at all. And, again, to a certain degree, so I put my cards on the table. Here's the thing, you know, um, when you have people that have an agenda or they want to get something done, they're a lot more involved in the political game because they actually have skin in the game. You know, I always say politics, after the first term of Obama, I was kind of like, uh, you know, whatever. I was very disillusioned, you know, and for a while I was just like, whatever. And what really got me back involved in politics was a better understanding of real estate and money. And I'm going to tell you why. Because real estate and politics go hand in hand. If the interest rate goes up, that directly affects real estate, And I was telling my uncle, Joe Biden put together a plan to try to get money out there to help developers convert those empty abandoned office spaces into residential apartments. And I thought that that was a really good idea. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't hate that at all. I think that's great. A lot of developers are going to make a lot of money converting these vacant office spaces that people don't want into apartment complexes. And then, you can decide whether they're going to be luxury apartments and you try to convince people to go back downtown, or you make it some type of subsidized housing, with government assistance, or, a fixed rent where you have the average people that can't afford to buy a house, they move uptown and or downtown and they work there. Maybe they work from home or maybe they have a closer commute. Hence the existence of the Electoral College. People's expectations were off when it comes to politicians. Right, right, right. I agree. So I think at the very base level, like I said, I got back involved heavily in politics when I got into real estate at a higher level and I started taking it more serious. I started looking at the local government and looking at the laws that they create. I started looking at, how land is acquired, how land is managed, the taxes, all of that stuff. And that's what led me to take a very serious concern in what's going on in politics. So, I have skin in the game now because what happens in real estate affects me. But you have a lot of people that don't have skin in the game and they don't care either way. And they still have the right to vote. And I mean, that's where it gets tricky, because we have to have an honest conversation. If you don't care and, it doesn't matter to you and it doesn't make a difference, should you have that right? Do you deserve that right? I mean, and I'm just asking a question, because I don't know the answer. I'm not going to sit here and say, yes, 100%, yes, you do. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm no, 100%, no, you don't. Because at the end of the day, the government does affect everybody. So you should have that right. But at the same time, if you're uninformed and you're just going to vote based on how you feel or what you think and not exactly the issue, how is that beneficial? How does that help somebody? You get people in office who went on technicalities and they went on flukes and, they just get crazy and they do whatever they want. How people think Trump is, and it just gets balls to the wall because and here's the thing about Trump, and I know there's a lot of people that just hate Trump and they just he's just a scum of the earth, whatever the case. I don't do that because I don't, but here's the thing: Trump has an agenda. Trump has an audience that he caters to. And the audience that he caters to isn't who people think that it is. Trump is working with business people. Don't get it twisted. You know, it's like, you know, yes, you have people that make money and they're stupid, you know, but well, now educate, yeah, 100% education is the key. But there's a lot of people that trip and fall into positions and they don't really deserve to be there, and they just happen to be there and they're not qualified, you know. But I think that what happens is you have a lot of unqualified people that speak on things that you have a lot of unqualified speak people that call other people unqualified, but they're not qualified. Like, for example, let's take a look at Bill Belichick. He had a lot of losing seasons after Tom Brady left once things kind of fell apart. And you had people trashing Bill Belichick, but as if they forgot all of the things that he did before, or what I'm saying, as if he lost his touch or he's not good anymore, whatever the case may be. But the people that are criticizing him, more than likely they never were a coach, they never even were a player. They just sat there and watched the game and they provide their feedback, but they don't have any skin in the game. You know what I'm saying? They're there due to nepotism. That's true. You have that as well. You have nepotism. You have people just being in the right place in the right time. Luck is real, man. Believe it or not, a lot of people that you think are smart aren't really that smart. They just happen to have rich parents, or they just happen to be in the room when something extravagant happened, and then they get credit because they were there, and then they just trip and fall and do, like, there's a bunch of lucky strike. People get struck by lightning more than once, and they just happen to be very lucky. It's possible. That happens a lot more than people would like to believe. But anyways, oh, I'm getting too worked up, y'all. I'm waking up the kids. Let me turn it down a little bit. But you know, politics is not a spectator sport. You have to look at things and you have to vote based on issues. For example, immigration is very important. A lot of people are upset in New York because the mayor is going to be giving out prepaid cards to take care of the migrants. Oh, that threw me off. That threw me off, y'all. My bad. But yeah, like I said, you have a lot of people that ooh, I lost my train of thought there. My bad. Um, where was I at? Where was I at? Whew, man, I'm glitching. Somebody called me an agent earlier today because I was talking about the NFL being rigged or not. So maybe I am an agent. I just had a memory glitch. Like Men in Black, where they hit you with the little thing, you forget everything. That's literally just what happened to me. I lost my whole train of thought. Um, but it's cool. I can pick up somewhere else. So, the thing is, you have to have skin in the game, and you have, oh, I know what I was talking about. New York. So a lot of people are upset because the mayor is going to be giving um, potentially prepaid cards to the migrants who may or may not be illegal. I don't know. I'm just going off what I saw in the headlines. I haven't looked at the actual bill or the actual proposal. So I don't know whether it's just something that they're throwing out there to get attention, or if this is something that's literally happening for real or not. But, if that is indeed what is actually happening, then you need to look at the mayor and you need to figure out where you stand on that. For example, if you feel like, hey, Mr. Mayor, you're giving immigrants these prepaid cards who may or may not be illegal, but you have citizens here who can't pay rent. You have citizens here who can't pay groceries. You have citizens here who can't pay utilities. So why are we using that money, and where's that money coming from? Oh, taxpayer dollars? So why are my hard-earned tax money, why is rather my hard-earned tax money going to pay for people who technically shouldn't be here? That doesn't make sense to me, Mr. Mayor. So, here's what I think. I think that the money that you're going to give to them, you should give to us, or we're not going to vote for you. See, that's how it works. Rich, you're going to like what I'm about to say. Politics is transactional. Politics is transactional. It's give and take. I give you something, you give me something. I give you my vote, you give me what I want. Or I don't give you my vote, I give my vote to somebody else who says that they're going to give me what I want. And we've gotten to the point now where we've lost sight of the fact that it's transactional. So you have a lot of people who, Rich, you want to come on? Um, Let me see. Now that I'm thinking about it, let me send you the link, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. 100%. And not only does it represent cheap labor, it represents a voter bait because again, if we get these people over here and it's transactional. If we get these people over here and we make it easier for them to become citizens, then what are they going to do in return for us? They're going to support us. They're going to vote for us. They're going to remember Mayor Eric Adams, you know what I'm saying, gave us those prepaid phones or those prepaid cards rather with the money on it. So, of course we're going to vote for him because he did something for us. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say it, but I promise you, y'all, I am not beating up on my uncle. I asked him, well, if the people on CNN said that, Joe Biden owes black people, what do you think he should do for black people? And he said nothing. And I'm like, and then later on that night, it popped up that Mayor Eric Adams is going to be giving the immigrants prepaid cars with money on it. So, again, the question is, and I know my girl Tara, she's gonna say everything's not about race, which I agree. I ain't gonna fight on that. But, how come they can get specific things for their community and they're not even citizens? Uh-oh, my boy Rich is in the building. Hey, let me add him to the stage.
Hey, hey,
Hey, Rich, what's going on, man?
hey.
Welcome, welcome,
I'm
welcome.
trying to get a. Let me see. I'm trying to get a what do you call it? An avatar because it's dark inside the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see. I want to make sure that you guys can.
Be careful, man. You can just turn the camera off. We can hear you. It's all good. I need you to pay
Okay.
attention to the road, brother. We need you here, man.
Okay. Okay. I'm here. I'm here.
Perfect. That'll work. That'll work.
Yep.
So yeah, what
Curtis,
you
it's
got?
about time. Yeah.
I know,
Okay.
man. Right? Right.
Yeah.
And I only
Yeah.
make content about myself, man. It's crazy. You
Wow. Selfish.
know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yorktown.
Hmm.
If you've been paying attention the past few nights, man, you'll notice this guy right here has been in the comments a lot, man. Mr. Richard
A lot.
Burns. Um, Very, very, very intelligent brother. I've been looking at his information, his content, and he drops a lot of game, man. So, and he's a boomer. See,
I'm
I
a
don't hate
boomer.
boomers.
Yeah. I'm a likable boomer.
I don't hate boomers, man. So yeah, what you
Nah.
got, Rich? I'm gonna let you speak on it.
Okay, so with regards to the whole voting and expectations and things like that, I'm gonna come at it from this angle, being that my father was a politician, not in this country,
Mm,
but he was a politician.
your
I
father that was
learned,
knocking people out.
huh?
Your father
He
that was
was,
knocking out teeth.
yeah, he was a. Yeah, it's funny because he was a chemical engineer. He wore many hats. He was a
Wow,
chemical engineer, a college professor. He taught chemistry and math. He was also the director, second man in charge of the Department of Education for the country,
wow,
and he also worked for the dictator's brother, one of the dictator's brother, a
wow.
general. So, and it's a rags to riches story because my dad didn't come from wealth,
Mm,
and he was the only one of his siblings that pursued. uh, education as a
Man.
route. Yeah. And so what I've learned, engaging with my father about politics, because he was very interested in the politics here in the United States, and he's far right. Okay,
Okay.
he's hardcore conservative. Um, you know, super hardcore Republican, and there was a constant battle between him and myself, being
Mm-hmm.
that I'm growing up in a system in New York City that we can say was, at the time that I was growing up, was leaning more left than right.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to be exposed to views from the left, and I got into a lot of debates with my father about this thing. What I came to the conclusion of was that our system here was designed in such a way so that the elite can compete in such a way that they don't allow one to overpower the other.
Mm-hmm. Checks and
So that's the
balances.
folk. It's supposed to be checks and balances, but not for us. It's checks and balances for them. So the way the chain works is this: the politician is somebody who they recruit for either one team or another, right?
Mm-hmm.
And their purpose is is marketing. Okay, they do
Mm-hmm.
the marketing. They try to get into a position for the sake of putting laws and uh, whatever can benefit the the sector of the economy that that wealthy person who's donating will benefit from.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they don't discourage that person from saying whatever they need to say to get voted, to get capture votes. That's their job. Capture as many
Mm-hmm.
votes as they can. Now, yes, part of the political process here requires money, and the more
Mm-hmm.
money a person has, hence the need for donors. The more money that the person has, the greater the chance of getting voted in, which is what that donor wants. That donor wants him to get in. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but the promise of that donation depends on how well he's going to appeal to whatever constituency he's trying to appeal to,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it different at the representative level, which is more local, or the mayoral or the gubernatorial, as opposed to the presidential, which is nationwide, which requires a lot more money because you need the research to find out what areas of the country you can definitely get the highest number of votes. In other words, they want to create the largest possible net to capture the largest amount of people they can. Of course, there are going to be groups of people that are just not going to go with that program,
So let me ask you,
right?
hold on. Let me ask you a question. You tell me if you agree or disagree. I'm gonna try to summarize it real quick. So basically, in terms of the president, they deal in macro in terms of the large scale, and they kind of, I think the analogy I used last night was they would be like the CEO of a McDonald's. They kind of drive policy that affects all of the different McDonald's everywhere in the United States. And then maybe your local politician would be the general manager or the manager of the store. They control
Yep.
what happens directly in that particular
Inside the store.
McDonald's.
Yep.
But the
Right. They're not
McDonald's in South
concerned
Carolina,
with
maybe. I'm sorry.
right. Right. Yeah. They're not concerned with the McDonald's in the next town over. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
CEO is,
Mm-hmm.
but not the manager of that one store. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. I agree.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to try to summarize what you were saying real quick. So go ahead. My bad. Continue.
Yeah. No. So what's really happening is that the average person, I'm going to say the average person, which is the vast majority, and keep in mind that of the voting population, I think it's only like 56% that actually vote. So,
Hold on. I gotta stop you again. So let me ask you this, because this is something that I've been wrestling with lately. We gonna go there. So, do you think
okay,
that how do you think we should handle that? Do you think that's an issue? Is that a cause for concern? Do you think that maybe only certain people should have the right to vote, or because I know that's a slippery slope, but what's your position on that? That so many people are just disengaged. How do you feel?
as of 2016, the most amount of people can vote than ever before. I think it's a good thing. Maybe sometimes people don't vote out of laziness, or maybe, like you said earlier in the program, they don't demonstrate any interest at the moment. But I'll give you an example right now. I'm pretty sure a lot more women are paying more attention because of changes that have occurred in the past few years,
Mm-hmm.
primarily with the abortion issue
It
and
impacts
the
them
fact that
directly.
And Roe v. Wade was overturned. So there's a group of people that uh, maybe have had the right to vote for a while, and they never really felt like going to the polls at the time or sometimes. But I would be willing to bet that they're going to show up in greater numbers now. So yeah, so okay, they're going to exercise their right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they didn't exercise it in the numbers, in the same numbers that they'll be exercising now. Maybe they didn't exercise it in previous elections. So had they not had those privileges active, this coming election, they may not be able to, they might not have been able to exercise that right. So
I like that
keeping the
perspective.
rights available, thank you. Keeping the rights,
I like that perspective.
keeping the
So let
rights
me ask you this then.
available. Uh huh.
So with that being said, again, kind of circling my wagons a little bit. So
Hmm.
in 2020, the deal that Joe Biden made with Black America was that he would put a Black female Supreme Court justice in the office. That was the
Okay.
deal. That's what all of the Black Americans got. Ketanji Brown.
Okay.
So with that being said, she was in. I believe she was here when the Roe v. Wade thing happened, right? Am I mistaken
Okay.
in that?
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, okay.
No, she
So
wasn't. Was she a part of that? No, I don't. Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% on that. I can't really
okay.
say.
Well, for
But
the
but in that particular case, it doesn't matter because there's a supermajority and it's Republican of the justices that are in the Supreme Court.
so
So her vote probably wouldn't have mattered.
So then my question, because there was a question
Hmm.
that was just a lead question. So my question
Okay.
is, if that's what Black people got, um, for their basically saving Joe Biden's campaign, do you think that that
Hmm.
was a fair deal for Black Americans as a whole?
I'm gonna say it was an excellent deal, uh, but it shouldn't be the only deal.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, it shouldn't be the only deal. Now, here's it. Okay, I'm big on accountability, right?
Mhm.
I'm big on that. I believe you mentioned that something that that drew your attention to my channel was the fact that I spoke about accountability.
Mhm.
So I so for our community, uh, I think we're lacking in the education
I agree. It sounds like you're breaking up there, buddy.
How about
You
now?
there?
Is it better?
Yeah, yeah, you good.
Okay. Okay. So I think they need. I think we definitely need to focus on our own communities and the educational standards of our own community because it's important. As a matter of fact, Jefferson. uh, Okay, so going back to the colonial times, it was the church that was educating the non-elites,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Jefferson that suggested a public school system to educate the non-elites for the purpose of being able to select a vote better, become better voters, which is kind of odd because back in those times, if you didn't own land, you weren't voting. But that was his thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we do have public education or whatever education that's available to us, yeah, we need to emphasize what to look for and what to expect when voting. I think that Obama got a bad deal because our community voted for him with an unrealistic expectation. Um, they, our community saw Obama like Moses, like he was going to deliver us from the Egyptians,
Mm-hmm.
and no, I knew that wasn't going to happen. That was impossible because that's the equivalent of putting a dolphin in a shark tank. He's got
Well,
to. He was, yeah.
Mr. Burns, I'm gonna have to push back now. So here's the
Go ahead,
thing.
go ahead.
So when you
Hmm.
talk about Obama and you talk about, the same thing, the deal. So black people voted for Obama expecting, him to represent them or him to do something specifically for them, which again,
Right,
transaction, right? So,
which is
the
fine. Uh
thing
huh.
is with Obama, obviously he couldn't do everything, but my pushback is this. When
Hmm.
Trump got into office, he pardoned his friends. He did a lot of specific things for his voter base and his people, and
Hmm.
he was doing executive orders left and right. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he was the president that had the most executive orders. I could be wrong, but I say that to say, you know, and a lot of people were upset about it, and a lot of people feel some type of way. But whatever you can't say that Trump did not look out for his people, his voter base, his core. He did a lot for his people. So
Hmm.
I don't think people are wrong by saying, well, if Trump was able to do this, 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 and this, why couldn't Obama have done this for us? And see, I'm
Well,
gonna say one more thing and then I'm gonna land it. The issue is now, people can say, hey, you had a black president, you had somebody that you guys voted for, and you guys went out the way, and this guy was supposed to be everything for you, but he didn't give you anything. So why should we give you anything? You had your opportunity. And that's where the education comes in. I think we
right.
missed a very big opportunity, and I land here. So now it's like, why should anybody else expect anything from black people when black people have been putting Democrats in the office for years? They have been a consistent voter base, and Democrats have always counted the black people. They know that they can go to the church, they can go to the fish fry, they can show up once every 4 years and get that vote. And not give anything in return. Does that make sense?
Okay. I understand exactly what you're trying to say. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come at you with this. Right.
Mhm.
I'm gonna use an analogy. Okay. Um, the Lakers when Magic Johnson and Jesus, the other player I forget, the big
Kareem?
three on the team
Let me see.
back in the late '70s and early '80s.
Was it Kareem?
Lakers. It was Kareem, Magic, and man, I forgot the other player's name. My
Yeah,
apologies.
James Worthy,
Are
if
you
I'm
looking him
not
up? Look him
mistaken.
up. Worthy. So let's take those three, okay? Or let's
Hmm.
just take one of them. Let's take Magic. Let's just take Magic. Or let's just take LeBron. Take LeBron with what was the best team in the '70s?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up again.
Would you say?
I
How about
couldn't
now?
hear the last part. You broke up.
Is it good now?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
good
but is it good
now.
now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, so what was the best team? What would you say was the best team LeBron played with?
The best team, it would have to be the Heat with D
Yeah,
Wade and Chris
you
Bosh.
think that was the best team? Okay, let's say you take LeBron with the Heat against LeBron with nothing but bench warmers.
His first stint at Cleveland.
Okay, the Cleveland team against the Heat
Hmm.
with LeBron on both teams. Who would win?
Um, if it's the best, see, here's the thing. If you go with that analogy, it would have to be a best of
Hmm.
seven because ultimately the Heat would
Okay,
win. But if we're just talking about one game,
exactly.
it could go either way because young
It doesn't
LeBron.
have to. It doesn't have to be one way. One game.
So yeah, if it
Best of
goes to a
seven.
series, I'm definitely saying the Heat LeBron would have definitely won that
Okay.
game by far, by landslide. It
Okay.
probably would have been, a 4-1 because I think young LeBron would have got one because he wasn't supposed to make it to the playoffs as many times as he did back then. So I give him one,
Right.
maybe two. I'd say it would go to a 6 game or 7 game series. Hold on, we got my guy
Okay.
Murder BX in the building. What's going on, Big Murder? Hope all is well. Go ahead, Rich. I just
Some
wanted to acknowledge my boy Murder.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, what kind of so when Trump comes into the scene, uh, who does he have backing him? When Obama comes into the scene, who does he have backing him?
Ah, okay. So I've heard this argument before. So we're going with Obama was the president, but he had a Senate that was stacked up against him and he didn't have any power. Right?
Basically,
Right. Okay.
even
Well,
though even though he got to okay, so here with Obama, he he inherited the absolute disastrous economy that Bush Jr. left for him. They said here.
hmm
So right off the rip, as far as optics is concerned, Obama is at an uphill battle. Totally.
hmm
The economy is in terrible shape. He's got to figure out how this thing is going to get repaired. This thing is damn near close to being a depression. Real close.
hmm
Uh, so he's got the odds stacked against him as far as perception is concerned, as far as optics is concerned, and unfortunately, as far as race is concerned. And that's a reality that we can't shy away from.
hmm Okay. So I give you that. Obama did a lot. Obamanomics is what they called it. He increased taxes on the rich. He created the healthcare reform. He tried to reduce the
Which was damn
federal
near
budget.
impossible. Yep.
He tried to reduce the federal budget deficit and he tried to decrease income inequality. So, I
Hmm.
give you that. Obama did a lot for the economy. He steered the ship properly. And I give you that. That's fair. That's valid. But
Hmm.
we if we go there, then we have to look at what Obama did again. So piggybacking Obamacare, he pushed that through.
Hmm.
It got done, right?
Yep.
So that goes to show that Obama had some sort of deal making skills and some form of pragmatism in order to be able to, resolve issues and get things done. So
with a difference that he had to do that swimming against the flow of the river, whereas Trump had the river flowing along with him.
fair. So with that being said, if he did that for, if he was able to get that done, then the question, it just begs the question, well, why didn't he push harder for the specific group of people? And I'm not going to say which group, but the specific group of people that put him in the office and basically consider him to be the savior. Because, you know, you just said yourself that he was able to swim upstream and get something done, and he navigated the economy. So it's like, well, if you did that, why do a half measure and stop there? Why not go all the way, since you already have the tide against you? You've already been able to get things done, and you've already been able to negotiate and make deals. Why not take that extra step and, you know, do something specifically for those people, your people,
Okay,
and push something that helps them out?
so
And
two things.
go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you wanted to address something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I hope you don't bring up, what was that thing, my brother's keeper, because that don't count. See, I'm
No,
not
no,
new to this, man. I've had this debate before.
no,
You
no,
know?
no. I'm going to bring up two things that are not part of the brother's keeper.
uh,
Two things. Number one, those steps that he took, they were far more difficult than perhaps people understand. And number two, the Sharks were not going to allow him to shine. They, you know, behind closed doors, you know, the N word was uh, an often used term. And, you know, the other side of the
hold on,
aisle.
Rich. Let me stop you for a second. My girl Tara
Yeah.
Helms is in the building.
Oh, let's go, Tara. Let's go.
We got Tara
I
in the
can't read the comments.
building.
Let me see if
We
I can
got
put it up
Tara
for
in
the
the building.
chats.
Go ahead. I just had to acknowledge Tara real quick.
Yes, sir. Okay, here we go. Now I can see. Um, what did you miss? Well, Tara, check this out, right? Because um, we're discussing or we're questioning why the why are politicians failing us, specifically right now at this stage of the conversation. We're questioning why the Democratic Party has been failing our community, and we're going back and forth about that. And what I was just about to say was that because because Curtis was mentioning that if Obama did so many things that I had mentioned, why didn't he take that extra step? And I was saying that you would have to look at those steps that he took, and maybe realize that those steps that he took against the grain, against the flow of the river, against the sharks, was a lot more difficult than people perhaps uh, understand. Because the other side of the
Hold
aisle,
on. I'm gonna stop you right there.
yeah,
So are you asking us to to feel sorry for a president, someone who took on that
no,
responsibility and understood that
no,
everything that they would, specifically a black president who knew
hmm,
coming in that everything was going to be difficult, bro. Like,
right,
like, like, like Obamacare was difficult. Him being the president alone was difficult. I People till this day are questioning whether Michelle Obama is a man or not. You know what I'm saying? So just him being in the office was difficult. So, you know, my
mm,
question is still, um, why not take that extra step?
uh, I guess for the same reason that LeBron doesn't have as many championship rings as someone like Michael Jordan or somebody else. I mean, we have expectations, but that's why I question just how realistic our expectations are. Because yeah, we would have liked for Obama to have done more. Yeah, I don't deny that, but I still think we need to consider the fact that it was he didn't have much of a team, and he was fighting a seasoned team with many victories. It's tough.
So, well, then I gotta ask another question.
Hmm.
If our expectations are unrealistic, then
Hmm.
is it not realistic for, migrants to come to New York and get prepaid cell phones? I'm not
Oh,
I don't know why I keep saying cell phones, for them to continue to get prepaid cards. Like, is that not unrealistic? Like,
no, what's happening there is what's been going on for a long time with immigrants. There are there are
I'm not gonna
business
let
people
you do
that are
that. You gotta answer
benefiting.
my question. Yes or no? Is that
Oh no,
unrealistic?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm. Is that unrealistic? Realism isn't the word I would choose.
No, realist.
It's
So hold on. No, no, no. We're not gonna do
yeah.
that.
For me, it's realistic. It's realistic.
So let me ask 20 if Obama was in office, is that something that you would expect? Like, here's the thing, man. Oh,
No, Obama did just the opposite. He kicked them the hell out. He
a
is
Democrat. So here's my thing, man. And I'm gonna let you get into it, but real quick, here's my stance on border control, man. Because it's like,
yeah.
you can't go an American can't go to Europe and illegally and expect to receive benefits from Europe. Any European country, as far as I know. There's a lot of black people, and maybe we'll go down this rabbit hole one day. There's a lot of black people that are upset with a lot of African nations because Americans here can't just go over to Africa freely, and people
Right.
laugh and they joke and they talk about how decrepit and broke down Africa is, whatever the case may be. But if
Hmm.
you try to take your
A
black behind
misconception,
over
but
there illegally,
huh? Hmm.
they getting you up out of there. So how
Oh yeah.
how is it okay for here, for that to be acceptable? Now, granted, if we go down that rabbit hole, borders as a whole, the concept of borders, yes, it makes sense as far as in terms of nations and control, but at the same
Hmm.
time, if you, I'm gonna say that for later. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. When I responded that yes, it's realistic, is not being saying that it's realistic is because of what I expect from a certain community here in this country. Not that I condone it. Uh, and Tara asked a very interesting question. Um, told immigrants to the city that they got to go. Denver told the immigrants that yes, they do because you were an immigrant, Mr. Burns, which isn't true. If you go to
Hmm.
Accra, Dakar, and Kampala. Okay, so I would imagine that she's referring to the condition of those locations. But going back to the whole immigration thing and the border and all that other good stuff. Um, so I put out in one of my videos the reality that migration through the border, right? Because 50% of the illegal immigrants come by way of airports. They don't come through the border. Those 50% come in through visas, either work visas or student visas. And what happens is that when it expires, they don't leave, they stay.
Hmm.
And you have the ones that are crossing the border, which is what everybody's attention is on right now. And the thing is that those those numbers increase and decrease depending on the state of our economy here in the United States. When the economy is doing well and unemployment is down, you get a huge rush of people trying to cross that border in the South. And the opposite is true when the economy is poor and unemployment is high. That's when you get the least number of people trying to cross that border.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're going to find that who's making all the noise about the situation in the at the border? You're not going to hear any corporations complaining about that. You're not going to hear any small business owners complaining about that. Why not?
Because they benefit from it. And not to cut you
Exactly.
off, but I can speak to that directly because again, I work in the construction industry.
Yes, and I mentioned
And
that in my video that because you work in construction, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
right, like I've seen it firsthand. They get a lot of benefits, and
Hmm.
they get a lot of help. They get a lot of benefits. They make it easier for them to become citizen. It is also true that hold on, let me see, Tara, real quick. It is also true that some lower wage jobs that Americans don't want, immigrants will work those jobs. So here's the thing, Tara. For a long time, I agree with that. That there's a lot of Americans that don't want those jobs, but at the same time, we have a lot of young people here in America that need those jobs specifically.
They need them.
There's a lot of people here that don't have qualifications to do a lot of other skill sets. I'm from a very small town called Bishopville, South Carolina, and I remember my in high school, I used to work at McDonald's. And, a lot of the people that worked at McDonald's, they would talk about how they would go work in the cotton fields under the table and get paid. Now, this is 2007, 2008. And we're sitting
Yeah.
in the back, at McDonald's, and they're talking about how they will go work in the cotton fields and get paid cash, what I'm saying, for, doing things in the field. And I'm like, I was one of the people that would be like, well, hell no, I would never do that just off the strength of, I ain't going to no damn cotton field. But, there were people that would do it and they would get money for it. So I think that there are a lot of people that would do those jobs if they knew about it. Because what happened, and, I'll say this and then I'll take a break again. So you have right now, the big push in America is college, go to college, go to college, go to college. And so, in another life in my career, I worked for a hedge fund that was buying up properties here in Charlotte, and
Uh-huh.
they were putting together a coalition so that they could. Oh, this comes full circle. They were putting together a coalition with local business owners and companies here in Charlotte so that they could create a voting block, and they could also start a PR campaign to bring back vocational schools so that they could get young American citizens to focus on the trades, plumbing, roofing, masonry, things like that, because
Right.
they feel like it's a deficit of people that need to do it and they just don't have the knowledge.
Right.
If you go to school, everybody's pushing to go to college, go to college, go to college, but they don't understand that if you become a plumber or if you become a skilled trade, you'll make way more money than most people that went to college and got a degree. So
Right.
a lot of it is due to a lack of knowledge. It's not that people won't take these jobs or they won't do it, because if you look at the immigrants, again, I work in construction, so I've seen it. They're doing labor, they're working masonry jobs, they're doing the skilled labor. So,
Mhm.
if we take that time and we invest in our people and we show them, that hey, you can make the money doing that, the money that you want, you can do that, but this is the route that you have to go instead of college. I think those people would take those jobs. So, I'm just going to push back a little bit on people not wanting those jobs. I think they don't know about those jobs, but I'm gonna yield there.
Okay, so I think they don't want those jobs because of what those jobs pay. If you increase the pay, you're probably right. They would take those jobs. Now, if if they pay more, let's use the farming for example. If they pay these farm hands a lot more than what they pay them now, if they pay them something equivalent to maybe what somebody might make at McDonald's or something like that, That's going to increase the price of our food. So, how much of a solution is that? And before I continue, Murder and Tara have made some points. I don't know if you want to read them before I continue.
Oh yeah. We'll pick up. They need the jobs, but most refuse to work them. That was murder. Tyra said that college push is a waste of time unless you choose certain fields. That's just my opinion, though. I agree. Well, I agree partially. I had a bachelor's degree, and I totally felt like it was a waste of time, just based on the money. But again, I think people have a misunderstanding or misinterpretation of what skilled labor makes. Plumbers make bank. HVAC technicians make bank. Electricians make bank. Brick masons make bank. And these are the jobs that a lot of the immigrants are taking that I can speak of specifically that I've seen. If you look into laying floor, laying tile, you have a lot of the immigrants taking those jobs. And those are jobs that I feel like if people were trained and qualified and understood how much money that these people were making, they wouldn't go to college. Because let's be honest, a lot of people that went to college wasn't supposed to be there anyway. I went to a HBCU for undergrad, and we had a very low graduation rate. A lot of people didn't make it. A lot of people didn't go to class because they didn't really want to be there. They were just told that they had to go to college. Those same people that didn't fit good in college, if they knew how to work on a car, if they were taught that, hey, you can go be a welder, or you can go work at a car dealership, or you can go fix cars, you would make bank. I think it goes back to information. But I'm gonna put that there real quick. Tara said correct murder. There's no denying that. Some people know but just don't want to do it. I agree. And then Tara said brick masonry seems like a cool job. It is, and they make bank because there's a need. So yeah, Rich, did you want to continue? I'm sorry.
Well, I had mentioned before that one one expense that a lot of these corporations wanted to reduce and reduce substantially, they did, was labor costs, and it's the reason why, especially during the Reagan administration, they all went out to China, Vietnam, and
Outsourcing.
big time.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, if an opportunity arises here where they can get cheap labor, uh, corporations aren't gonna, or small business owners, they're not going to complain about people coming across that border. And well, if nobody knows about it, hey, I can employ them. They'll work and they'll work hard. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll work hard, and they're not the criminals that they're being stigmatized as.
No, not at all. I agree. I agree.
And that's propaganda for the sake
Mm-hmm.
of and
Fear
that
mongering.
propaganda,
Fear
yeah,
mongering.
mongering, yep. But
So
huh,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
it keeps people distracted from that reality that they're being hired, they're being used, and companies are benefiting from that. And those are American companies; those aren't immigrant companies. So it takes the heat off of them. But it's like my homeboy Jake said: if you start aggressively pursuing these business owners and hitting them off with mandatory minimum of 6 months of federal prison for knowingly hiring illegal immigrants, then that might curb that.
So here's the thing. That's what Ron DeSantis did in Florida. And I don't know if you saw, but Florida was
Oh
hurting
yeah,
for a long time. Like those farms were empty, houses, construction stopped and slowed down. Like so,
did.
but yeah, Ron DeSantis actually did it and it looked crazy.
Yeah.
But here's where I'm at. And guys, I have about 10 more minutes. My wife just got back in town from her vacation. So I'm gonna have to wrap it up very soon. But I want to say this. So I'm actually at heart a very liberal person in terms of, what I feel like is okay and what's not okay. And,
Okay.
I would even venture to say that I think I would be kind of middle left wing, because, what I think about government working and what the government essentially would look like, or government assistance programs, here's what I would think,
Hmm.
or here's what Curtis York would do about the immigration problem. So, right now,
Okay.
here in Charlotte, we have an extreme housing crisis. At one point in time, we had what was called Tent City, a bunch of people that lived in tents right off of the interstate, just tents, no houses, no nothing. Right down the street from where I live, actually, there's a guy that has a car, and he parks behind a hotel, and he parks his car right next to his tent, and he lives in a tent. So what I would do is I would gather up all those people and, figure out some temporary housing, and I will put them in these skilled trade programs and teach them the
Hmm.
skills that we need, instead of, sneaking people in and giving visas and all of this stuff. We have a labor force right here. They don't have any money, so they don't have anything to lose. And I would attach their
Right.
housing to it. That way, the money that they make, they can save and build up, and it helps the economy because now the money is cycling. You have people, you have housing, you have low wage people. You don't have to pay them that much because their housing is already taken care of through subsidies, right? And so you teach these people skills through Goodwill. I know Goodwill does something very similar to this. You teach them skills and you put them out in the workforce, and there you go. You have cheap labor right here. People that are already sitting here not doing anything or don't have access or they can't. You take them, you give them the skills, you put them back out there, and it solves so many problems instead of doing all of this extra stuff. And if you really want to build a voter base, that's how you do it, because you're giving it to citizens, people that live here, instead of reaching outside and doing all of this underhanded stuff and being sneaky. And then when it fits your political agenda, you turn around and you vilify these people, but secretly you're bringing these people over. They're not getting over it. Like, let's be honest. So, that's why I say, to, ideologically, I am a liberal person. If homosexuals want to get married, I don't care. I don't, do I think that, well, we're not going to do that, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't bother me as long as they don't affect my household or my children, or they don't do anything crazy or out the way. If that's what y'all want to do over there, that's fine. But, I have to be honest, and I have to say that a lot of conservative thinking and talking points have been making sense, and it scares me because all my life I have been a very liberal minded person, but
Hmm.
I'm also an open minded person, and I don't disagree with everything that conservative people have been saying because it's been making a lot of sense. So yeah, that's where
Yeah.
I'm.
Well, um, I grew up conservative, right?
uh
And what I will say is that
Late 90s.
I don't have to go hard like that. Conservative. I don't have to.
Mhm.
There are. I'm not a transactional person. You'll
Mm.
find a lot of transactional people that are conservatives, and they use that as a means to justify um, not giving a damn about other people and being selfish. And you don't have to be like that.
Uh-oh,
Uh,
uh-oh. Hold on, Rich. Hold on, Rich. I gotta stop. Somebody said that's socialism. And
yeah.
as a Canadian, I approve. Good talk, Kurt. Now,
Well, socialism could work, but you have to eliminate corruption, and that's difficult. For socialism to work, you got to eliminate. You have to absolutely eliminate corruption. That's hard. There's no such thing as communism in a large scale as in a country, because in communism there really isn't a government. There's no representation. It's just you, your community, and how you interact with your community, and how you uh, share the resources as
Mhm.
a part of conservative or conservatism, if that's a word, that I enjoy is my dislike of leeches.
Mhm.
Okay, that I don't like. I can work with people. They might do less than me, or they might do more than me. I can work with them, but to obligate me to compensate for someone who doesn't want to do their part, I'm not down with that.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not down with that. And in that regard, I am conservative.
Right.
There are people that make terrible choices and wind up homeless, like drug use, drug addiction. Um, to what extent do
Mm.
do I have to reach out to these people? Is a question that I ask myself all the time. To what extent? Uh, you know, you like to party. All right, we're back in college. You like to party, and you're getting carried away.
Mm.
And if somebody comes through and says you're getting carried away, you're going to wind up in a situation.
Right.
Okay.
If they wind up, okay, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Smokey. Smokey.
Oh, we got somebody else. Okay,
Yeah, Smokey popped up. Hey, Smokey, your mic is low, but we can kind of hear you. Up there. Yeah, your mic is low, but we can hear you.
real.
Hmm. You have your AirPods in? Maybe take your AirPod out. Yeah, you got your AirPods in. We can't hear you, Smokey.
Crap. Crap. Now
Oh,
can you hear
okay. You
me?
sound much better.
Smokey, say something again.
Good. Because something's up with me. I sound like I'm underwater.
Okay, you sound good now though. You
No,
you
you
good.
sound good.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Smokey doesn't.
Okay, so we got Smokey in the building. He's new here. I'm gonna yield the floor to him. Smokey, what you got, buddy? Oh man, you gone again. Can't hear you. Smokey, we can't hear you, buddy.
Can you hear me now?
Sound like
Yeah, now we
yeah,
hear
now
you.
yeah.
Whatever you're doing now, just keep doing that because you sound good. Go ahead, Smokey. Oh
You're back
man.
in the jar,
Okay.
Smokey. Now we hear you. No, yeah, now you're back in the jar.
I think it's the AirPods.
Not yet, Smokey. You're still far away.
Right.
Okay.
You're in and out.
Yeah, I keep
God.
it's the AirPods.
Now,
That's what I'm saying, Murder. It's the AirPods. You got to put them AirPods up and we'll hear you.
Okay. Now can you hear me?
Perfect.
now, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still got them
So,
AirPods in.
AKA Friday.
okay, Friday.
What you got for us?
No, the movie. The movie.
Yeah, Friday the movie.
Friday.
Smokey from Friday, right? Okay.
Chris
You're,
Tucker.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, I got you. All right,
Right.
Smokey. You gonna have to take them AirPods out. I'm gonna have to drop you, man, because we can't hear you. I'm trying to give you the floor so you can speak. I heard Friday and Chris Tucker. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right. I really wanted to hear what Smokey had to say, man, but uh oh well. But yeah, you know,
Love for the AirPods. Yeah.
right, you know. And so yeah, I don't know. That was weird. I really wanted to hear what Smokey had to say, but yeah, man. So yeah, I think that's what he was doing, Murder. He was telling us his name was Smokey, like Chris Tucker from Friday. Shout out to Chris Tucker, man. I mean, shout out to Smokey, like Chris Tucker from Friday. But yeah, man. I feel like the minute you get too far on one side, it gets rough. Like if you go too far right, then you have it gets crazy. If you go too far left, it gets crazy as well. So I think somewhere in the middle is where people should try to meet, and there should be bipartisanship, which is why you do have multiple forms. You have multiple parties, which was the purpose. It's supposed to be checks and balances where people find right centrist or pragmatism, where people figure out what works best and then they come up with a solution. Like I was looking earlier in the news, I saw that they're trying to come up with a bipartisan deal to work on the border, but in
They
exchange
did.
for working on the border, they're going to
They
give money to
did.
Ukraine and Israel, which is like, bruh,
No, they had a deal. Um, McConnell and Biden had a deal. Everybody, it was bipartisan. It went through. Everything was good to go. And then all of a sudden, Trump opened his mouth, and McConnell said, "Forget it."
mm. Oh man, now we got Dr. Dre. That looks like Smokey again. So
It's me.
all right, what you got, Smokey?
All right, Smokey, what's going on? What's going on with your microphone, Smokey?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know. It's acting weird, bro. Every time, bro. Every time I join some live, bro, it acts weird, bro. It doesn't act weird. No, I don't think it doesn't. It acts normal, bro.
All right, we
What are
got
you
you now.
using? Because you sound
This
good.
brother really loves Friday. First it was Smokey, now it's Dr. Dre. This brother loves Friday. What you got, Smokey?
Songs, cause I sing those songs every day.
I believe it. What you got for us, man?
NWA,
Uh-huh.
Ice Cube, MC Ran, Easy E, Dr. Dre, and Yella.
Okay.
Okay, so I got a little trivia question for you. If you look at the album cover, you're gonna notice somebody there that looks like a white dude in the album cover. The first NWA
Oh,
album
DJ
cover.
Yella, DJ Yella, DJ
No,
Yella.
that's not DJ Yella.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
No, it's not DJ Yella. You know who that is? The guy is Mexican. I forget his name.
Mm.
That was Easy E's friend.
Straight out of Compton, the movie.
No, I didn't hear about it in the movie. I didn't see the movie, but
Right, right, right,
I
right.
I, I,
What?
I stumbled upon that.
So hold on. Before we get too far off track, Smokey, what you got for us?
Friday, the one with no Smokey, only Day Day.
Okay.
What do you think of Day Day?
What do I think of Day Day? What do I think of Day Day? Okay. All right.
So
Okay.
refresh my memory. Who was Day
All
Day?
right.
Refresh my memory, Curtis.
We
Hey,
we not about to do that. We not about to nah. Smokey,
No.
I'm gonna have to let you go, buddy. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Nah, man. Man. So look, I'm glad. See, I was with Tara because Tara was like, okay, and I was like, I see what you're doing because I'm like, yo, we having a serious conversation right now, and this nigga just kept talking about Chris Tucker, and I was thinking initially he was just trying to explain himself, like where the name Smokey came from. So I'm like, cool, but now it's like, all right, now we talking about Day Day. Yeah, we not talking about Day Day, bro. Like we got some serious conversation going on right now. We talking
Oh, I thought
about,
he was trying to make a
you know,
connection with Day Day and the
nah,
whole immigration
man.
thing. No, because I don't know which Day Day it is. I
Nah,
forget that.
man. Like, and so when Murder was like, careful putting up the stream link in the chat, you never know who's going to join up. It's like, all right, yeah, I see what's going on. Y'all, we got our first troll.
Oh,
Hey,
hey, well, that's a good sign.
we got our
Trolls are a
first
good
troll,
sign.
y'all.
When you have a troll, that means you're succeeding. You're gaining traction with the
You
channel.
know what I'm saying? We got our first
Yeah.
troll, man. He
A
came
round
up
of
here.
applause for our first troll, man.
He just
Yeah.
wasted like 10 minutes of our life that we'll never get, Brett. Like, oh man. Like, dog. There wasn't nothing wrong with them doggone little AirPods. He was just wasting time. And he got me. He got me, man. I
Okay.
gotta
Okay.
give him credit. He got me with that one. Man.
Okay.
But, on that note, y'all, I gotta go, man. Like I said, my wife done got back. I've been with the kids all weekend. And you know, most parents won't say this, man, but when you alone with your kids, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, y'all, I love my kids to death, but 2 under 2 is real, man. It is no joke. It
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
is real.
That's a
So,
fact.
Rich, if you free, you're more than welcome to come back on tomorrow. If
Hey,
anybody
thank
else
you,
want
man.
to come up, I'm gonna probably send you the link privately so we don't have this happen again.
Right.
But yeah, let's do it again
Good
tomorrow
night,
night,
murder.
man. Y'all hold it down, man.
Good night,
Appreciate y'all for
Tara.
stopping by. Oh, also shout out to my guy Mike from MNTV. Make sure y'all check him out. He does a lot of really good content, man. Him and his family. So
I'm getting on there right now.
yeah, man. But yeah, I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow, and we'll do it again, same time, same place. Y'all hold it down. All
Thank you.
right,
All right, buddy. Thank you so much.
no doubt. Thanks for coming.
All right.